We got 4v4 Setons, and it appears that I finally figured out how to record these in decent quality. We got Sith, Seraphim, taking on VMC, who's also Seraphim. The two very good players. See Sith going with two mask extractors at factory, while VMC goes with just a factory, and actually the first NG also runs up. You can see the second NG from VMC is going to spam a bunch of P-gens, while the first NGs from Sith go back to get the Hydra. That's one of the differences between two middle spots. The one on the left, the Hydra, is slightly closer. Have a very good matchup in Navy here with McFly Seraphim versus Jaguar, who is GEF on Rock. So very difficult player to beat on Rock. And there we got the matchup between Commander Can versus Shiva. And in the other ocean we got Syndicatalist, a great Cybern player, taking on Benzel, who's also Seraphim. You can see how much earlier VMC is in the middle. We actually see a PD being built by him. This is almost like Tinoch's build, but not quite, who Tinoch would have built two. A nice overcharge by Sith, and actually two successful overcharges. Sith neutralizes PD. Even much better for VMC to just use this engine to get mass. So a bit of a gamble that did not pay off. See an NG from Sith going around behind VMC's backs and get a bunch of mass if it's successful. You see a very early bomber from Jaguar is actually going to go after Sith. I try to get some of these first NGs trying to build factories. You see a transport from McFly. He's going to load it up with some Phobos. And we see a transport around 4 minutes 30 seconds. See one kill for the bomber from Jaguar. Successfully drops off two NGs. And now the transport is going to try to drop off on McFly's mainland. See 4 kills for Jaguar's bomber. Very effective bomber versus Sith. Most of the mass is gone, but it's not even minute 6. If we compare who's got the most mass, see VMC got nearly 6,000, while Sith got about 8,000. So that was that gamble that did not pay off for VMC. See the interceptors for Jaguar had forced the transport from McFly to drop the arties early, and also we see some mech marines that were dropped off. They're going to try to take out a T2 mass extractor from McFly, but will be neutralized before that. And now we see these Phobos getting bombed by Jaguar, but will cause some damage. See both players going for factories around minute 7. In the other ocean, it's a more predictable. Syndicatalist takes his island. See Schneck here, VMC. Looks like it has more of the middle. Sith getting an upgrade, already has T2. Looks like she's going to have the gun as well. Still not all the mask extractors taken. And the VMC is retreating. See it drop directly to Syndicatalist's base. This is an NG drop from Benzel. Gonna make some PDs. It'd be nice to drop a bomb directly on it. And it looks like an ACU, a T2 ACU. It's a very good weapon versus drops. Nothing these NGs can do versus this T2 PD. See some bombers from Jaguar. See a lot of really good targets here. He's probably looking for mostly for targets around the Navy. It's a good scouting bomber. See some T1 navies from both players. A nice group of 4 frigates, some submarines from McFly, and some T1 subs and frigates in the other ocean as well. See Sith here has a gun, T2 and tactical missile. Seraphim has pretty good TMD, which VMC has already built. There's a T2 power generator from VMC. That'll be a very good target, but it is protected. We see VMC losing some T2 mask extractors, and a nice push from Sith. See a long string of Navy. It's going to go after Sins. A long string of air. I'm sorry. It's going to try to bomb Sith's naval factory, and Sind almost has a cruiser out. However, quite a few NGs were killed by these bombers. Now Sith in the middle breaks through this wall that VMC has built. Continues to shoot tactical missiles. And you can see this TMD is successful at neutralizing these. If this was a UEF, this would be a completely different story. We see a cruiser from Jaguar. It's a good weapon against the massive units. See Sith with a gun. He's going to get a whole bunch of kills. It's a nice rolling commander. See some ASF coming out, minute 12. We do not see too much ASF from Commander Can at this point. However, he has the best score, probably a very good eco. We see some bombers combined with Sith's assault. It's going to be a T2 PD standoff with a whole bunch of arty shooting back and forth. It looks like Sith is going to get a shield for herself. You also see some Yoshivas in this mix, getting a few kills. Now I see some T2 stealth subs. It's going to be very effective against these Seraphim T1 subs. And then we'll have the cruiser in support in the middle. And now the beginnings of a pretty strong navy from Jaguar. We just might see the first ASF fight of the game that Shaba should take quite easily. Pretty much 2 ASF that will be taken out. Sith at 22 kills. We see a bunch of Mercies being built by Can. However, these will not be effective if Shabby provides the air cover. See some TMD in the corner from VMC, but it looks like the central TMD have been taken out. Nice support from Syndicatalist's cruiser. Want to avoid this T1 PD. And now it looks like these stealth subs are doing a very good job. Cruiser sitting at 26 kills. Now I see the Seraphim Destroyer much stronger than a single Cybran sub. Now we see, looks like 4 Mercies. This will not be enough to take out Sith. Standing underneath the shield, getting another one built. 45 kills for that ACU. UEF versus Cybern fight in the middle. This is mostly frigates versus destroyers, and then destroyers versus subs. You can see a nice micro on the NGs from McFly. One thing McFly would have to work really hard for is to get a T3 ground to get some shields over his navy, or a T3 navy to get the subs. Seraphim navy is quite weak in the T2 stage. We see a drop from McFly. Some more Phobos is going to attack this vulnerable island. It's a good use of Seraphim. Looks like a bit of a counter from VMC, but it's not going to be successful. A lot of Yoshivas in T2 PD. Although one of the shields is down and the PDs are being killed. Looks like a nice force of Yoshivas has snuck through around VMC's defense, taking out mass extractors. Nice use of Yoshivas from Sith. And actually Sith using her Phobos to help Syndicatalists in the naval fight. Now we see how effective these Phobos are against this island. And yet another transport with 8 Phobos coming in. It appears that for the moment VMC is winning this T2 PD standoff. So Sith has to be very careful. We see a whole bunch of Strad bombers here, 4 Strad bombers. That is something that Shiva should be paying attention to. We can see Sith on the first pass. Actually all 4 bombers lost. Sith could be dead already. Desperately trying to get the shield up, but it is up, but one more bomb and Sith dies. And Shiva has moved in his ASF, but he's going to lose ASF. Now Sith gets veterancy, but it's not enough. So the left team here has lost a mid player and air in that exchange. You can see a very good drop from McFly here, taking out some T3 mass extractors, at least damaging them. 700 health, that's pretty tragic. It looks really bad for Benzel at this point. Syndicatalists will roll through his navy with all the support from Sith. However, this left team here is going to have some big problems in terms of ASF. Very well played by McFly versus Jaguar in this one, being very aggressive. Looks like all 3 mass extractors have been destroyed on this island, and now the Phobos are going to roll through and try to do some damage on these NGs. See a force of 6 destroyers and quite a few units here under shields for UEF. And it appears that Benzel has completely lost his navy. Now I see some T3 torpedo bombers. At this point, it's going to be a very big cruiser spam from Sind. See a big chain of torpedo bombers. These are T2 torpedo bombers this time. from Can, trying to help Benzel. You can see all these amphibious phobos just strolling through, having killed all the Navy, now doing damage to all the mask extractors. Sith pointing out the obvious lack of build capacity around Shaba's factory here. A few more NGOs would really help. Of course, there's also a different factory here. Now we see a bit of a naval fight. See the lack of shields at T2 stage for Seraphim is really obvious. However, UEF is retreating a little bit. Jaguar is being very careful and also supporting the middle. So yet another attempted drop that might get cut out by Jaguar. You see frigates here, very effective versus, these are actually tanks here. This transport might not make it all the way to the island, and it doesn't. You can see the really hard roll from Sind, pushing Benzel back, actually going down to 5k health on his ACU. It's a great combination of Cybern destroyers that go on land and Seraphim Arty that goes on land and water. It's going to be a pretty nice drop here from Sind. Appears to be full of phobos. 15 phobos. This naval battle, looks like the shields are down for Jaguar. Now they're coming back. Interesting use of destroyers from McFly, splitting them into two different groups. And also a nice group of subs taking out frigates. I know one of the groups that McFly split off has been pounced upon by Jaguar and wiped out, so that's the danger of splitting up your force. But now McFly has quite a few more destroyers coming in for support. Another T2 drop for Sind. This one has 16 phobos. You see his other drop was very successful, taking out 3 mask extractors. Now these destroyers are walking back, get supported by these cruisers. See Benzel's base got completely wiped out pretty quickly here. See this drop. So Can having to build a lot of units like gunships and bombers, torpedo bombers. Looks like Shiva might be catching up with them in terms of ASF. Now we see a drop. Attempted drop from VMC that gets taken out with ASF from Shab. A really good use of T1 subs by McFly. He's trying to kill the UEF destroyers, which are known to be quite weak versus subs. Nice placement between the factory and the main force. And now we see the T2 drop from Sind on Jaguar's Island. See VMC having to build a lot of shields to protect versus Sind's Cyber Navy. See a pretty massive amount of NGs around Cancans. T3 Air Factory. It's got 2 of these. Have a similar situation for Shaiba. You also see an anti-nuke for Shaiba. Pretty early anti-nuke. Doesn't look like anybody's making nukes quite yet. And actually interesting to see McFly was able to get Jaguar to retreat with his UEF. Looks like it's about 8 or 9 destroyers here. To the right side, even having a little bit of ASF superiority is not taking advantage. And you see a nice cruiser spam coming in. It's going to be harder and harder to fight with air. And here we're going to have an ASF fight. A really good support from the Setons cruisers in this one. It almost seems that the cruisers will make the difference. This is a really bad micro from Shiva there, just running away like that, but he is trying to position Can's Air Force over these cruisers. Did take quite a bit of hits running away like that. And now Sind has his own ASF, so this could be an ASF win for the left side. We also see a chicken bot coming through the middle. And VMC really needs to think about how he will stop the chicken bot. He's got a lot of shields and some T2PD. See a lot of T2 torpedo bombers. Really should be getting taken out by some ASF. Now we see some T1 interceptors response from McFly. See a transfer from VMC just sitting there waiting for an opportunity. Maybe to take back this island or to drop onto McFly here. You can see VMC running away with the ACU. It's a very good naval counter from Jaguar, using both Navy and torpedo bombers at the same time. And this response in terms of ASF was really quite late. Pretty big loss for McFly. And now we see some underwater. These are Atlantis. Very good submarine aircraft carriers. It's going to be very difficult to counteract these for McFly. He might be going T3. Yes, he's gone T3. Now he's going to get T3 torpedo. Some subs. We already see some of these submarine hunters. And 2 of them are already on the way. Now we see some chicken on chicken fighting. And this chicken from Syndicalist will be taken out. It's going to be a nice mass chunk for VMC. The game appears to be swinging back from the right side. Now once again, not the best micro from Shiva. Trying to stay over these cruisers, but turning the back. You can use a few of your ASF to try to get the entire ASF force from Can to fly over these cruisers. And still these torpedo bombers are alive and destroying McFly's unshielded Navy. You can get these submarines to surface. They have really good anti-air capabilities.
Now we actually see this chicken on a counterattack. A chicken for Sind is only about a third of the way done. This will be a close situation here in the middle. Navy kind of ran into a dead end, but some NG's taking advantage of all the wrecks from Benzel's base. We see a chicken that was finished by Benzel will be able to push this Navy back. Here we begin to reclaim the base back. And this island here is going to be reclaimed back by Jaguar using his Navy. See two Atlantis aircraft carriers built by Jaguar. Now the chicken bot on a counterattack. With this amount of T2 ships, however, this chicken bot could be taken out. Both pretty big losses to these ships. But it doesn't look like Sind will want to do this. It appears that the chicken bot is not going to go through the middle. Probably a good move that this chicken was built very quickly by Sind. And he will go directly to the shipyards from Sind. And once again some bad micro in terms of ASF from Shaiba. He just lost most of his ASF and trying to get him to fly over these cruisers. Now it's going to be another pretty big loss. Good micro from Sind using the range versus the chicken. Chicken going down to half the health. See some torpedo bombers looking to go after the chicken in the water. But that is not an option with all this ASF from Can-Can. So a really good experimental attack here from VMC and Can-Can. So the answer will be a spider bot, a very quick spider bot in this area. But it has to be done now. And in the other ocean we have the Atlantis versus T3 Seraphim sub. Also some cruisers. This is a counter to all these shields, the cruisers. You can see these torpedoes have the longer range, but not doing any damage because of the shield spam from UEF. Now it appears that Benzo is going to try to recapture his base with some shields. And the chicken bot is going to get on land. No spider bot in sight. Really should have been built. Well, there's a chicken coming in. Now these engines are running away for their life. Now it appears that these subs are breaking through some of the shields, but the shields are turning back on. Be nice to see a T3 ground factory from McFly here. And now Can completely dominating air directly above Shy Base production. The chicken gets on land. This is terrible right here. You can see it's getting vet. 2-star chicken. and a brand new chicken coming in to send it back. "71 kills, 3 more kills for another star." That it might actually be almost good enough to take on the other chicken. So 34k health versus 67 at this point. Another chicken was built by VMC in the middle. And another being built. And now it looks like one of these Atlantis might be cut out out of the shields. This might be an opportunity for McFly to take it out. You can see how quickly it'll die. It's a really good experimental use from VMC. Not wasting it. It's gonna try to get on this shallow ground, shoot over this ledge here. Now McFly really doing a good T3 sub spam. A lot of damage per second from these torpedoes. And a lot of shields. Not a lot of torpedo boats from Jaguar, which is a little surprising. Maybe a little more efficient than these Atlantis in terms of countering these subs. Now we see a lot of torpedo bombers coming in. It's a nice use of flak from Sind. It's really the second best thing to do against ASF if you don't have your own ASF. There is some confusion here with Sind has turned his cruisers to shoot their anti-air weapon against ground. You can see them flying. And Benzel thinks these are actually torpedoes being shot from these ships. It's a very good weapon against shields. See a nice Strat Bomber force from Can. And now we see the chicken. He's at 80 kills now, shooting over the edge. And now with a little more time and a couple more kills, it'll be able to take on this other chicken. Now I see Strat Bombers coming in from Can. The anti-nuke would be a very good target. Do not see shields here. This can be quite tragic against McFly. No shields and a very good target. McFly gets taken out now. Sind has to control two different navies. Really well played by McFly versus UEF Navy. Now we still see the controversy here. Sovereign cruisers, a lot of damage per second going right at that point. And still the Seraphim shields are able to hold. It's a pretty nice gunship force from Can. And multiple chickens, a third chicken being built by VMC in the middle. Now it's a great chicken, actually at 4 stars now, 88 health.
Can now go back and take on the chicken that's sitting guard. And now we see what happens when the cruisers have to turn back to shooting air. Now they only shoot their main gun against those shields. Gunships actually took out quite a few of these cruisers. And now the chicken will come in and the cruisers will have to retreat. And actually a few Strat bombers from Syndicatelist, pretty much suicidal. And Sin's Navy is finally forced to retreat. A lot of Strat bombers from Sin. These are stealth. Not clear what their target would be. There's a lot of shields from Benzel. C3 chickens with some shields moving through the middle for VMC. And now we'll finally have this fight. 4-star chicken, 120 kills versus a brand new chicken. The idea for Sin here is to die as close as possible to this other chicken so that the chicken can kill the other one after death. Also, all these Strat bombers could really help at this point. For whatever reason, the target of choice here are the feet. It's going to try to get that 5th star. It does. It's a little more health. Actually walk all the way around Syndicatelist chicken. 46k health for Sin, 57 for VMC. Now we see a snipe attempt from Syndicatelist, all these stealth bombers are able to break through the shields. VMC goes down to 3k health, so one more bomb. Actually no, VMC is successfully sniped by stealthed Strat bombers. That was really excellent play from a Syndicatelist. And now we see this chicken is going to be put down. 29 kills after being given off to Can. And you see a massive navy from Jaguar. We see 4 Atlantis, a whole bunch of shields. They're going to take on a whole bunch of T3 torpedoes. In the middle we also have a fight. 3 chickens have just taken down a chicken from Sind. And a nuke from Can. There should be multiple possible targets at this point. Actually, a spider bot here underneath the Navy would not want to attack all those shielded ACUs and chicken. Some brave D3 torpedo subs going underneath the shields and will be taken out by the 4 Atlantis. The nuke is on its way. Looks like this is the target for Can-Can's nuke, just to help out Jaguar's Navy. That was a very nice nuke. You can see Sin trying to save as much of his navy as possible. Let's check out the kills on this nuke. So that was 213 kills with that explosion. See 3 chickens moving through the middle. Not only a single chicken for Sin is going to try to counteract these. This is going to be eventual end for McFly's old base. Now we see the spider bot coming in from underneath this Navy into VMC's undefended base. Really nice spider bot here. And in the other middle, actually one of the chickens dies. It's going to buy Sin a little more time, but this chicken will not be finished, and this is not good to move your chicken into a dead chicken. Whole bunch of dead chickens. And the spider bot on the other end getting bombed by strat bombers. That was a very quick roll. Take out some T3 power generators, and the UEF cruisers will have a pretty far reach to take out all these mass extractors. See another set of ASF from Shaiba. But really probably does not have the numbers to do anything. If you could micro very well over these cruisers, but it's not going to happen. So there, Shaiba flew way too long in one direction, allowing Can-Can to just fly behind him, shooting him in the back. So see how one-sided that was. And now we see the UEF cruiser just launching missiles everywhere. And 2 chickens survive. Roll through the middle on Sind. Actually, a chicken from Sind is going through the middle. It's great. Use a flak from Sind. He's got a nuke, stealth field. He's gonna have a megalith. Maybe put a laser on this thing. Actually, gonna have 2 megaliths. It's a great place to have a ASF fight. Actually, better to do it over flak than cruisers. You can see how much damage is being caused to all these ASF. However, there are 2 chickens moving in, so this Mega is going to try to kill off these chickens. And another set of strat bombers is moving in. A lot of possible targets here. It looks like for whatever reason Shaiba is not standing under shields. It's going to be a bad situation for him if he doesn't get under a shield. It really doesn't make sense. Probably thought this flag would prevent these strats from coming in, and Shaiba dies for no reason. So now Sind is all alone. See a Mega versus two chickens. And another Mega coming in to help out. See McFly's old base slowly getting destroyed. Now good micro from Can, not stopping to fight. Just keeps his rolling as far as he can to cause as much damage as he can. Actually getting some veterancy. And this is gonna really hurt with a dead chicken right in the middle of your main production, all those hives. That was a very nice move. Reclaim instead of kill, so that the chicken doesn't cause the thing that it does after death. Now we see a very large Strat bomber force. You gotta be looking for this ACU. No, they went after the nuke first. No, they just saw the ACU. Taking out Tech 3 power generators. See multiple colors of these Strat bombers, just massive squadrons of Strats. And Sin's probably just gonna get out and wait to be bombed. And somehow manages to stay alive. So a lot of ASF from Sind. Good use of shields. Sitting on 1,000 health. You can look at the spam on the other side. See two factories here, another here. A lot of NGs. See at the end of the game. Actually, for a reason cannot see this count, are about 500 NGs. Funny to see Benzel still hasn't made it back into his navy, but has reclaimed most of his base. Seraphim shield's very strong. Amazing you can survive for that long against that many Strat bombers. And now Send will most likely get that bomb. Should be coming. Still isn't dead. It's amazing. This is just a ridiculous Strat bomber force here. But it doesn't look like the ACU is the target. I'm gonna try to kill the rest of the T3P gens. Because if you kill all the T3P gens on the other side, these shields will go down by themselves. Definitely an overkill on that one. A lot of dead planes all over the place. Sind actually making a soothsayer so you can see what's happening. Doesn't have too many T3 power generators, costs a lot of power. You had another nuke being launched. Those flags just keep killing. No, the shields are down. This is most likely because of some power surges. Most likely the soothsayer is taking a lot of power. Look at this from Sind's point of view. You see his power is fluctuating quite a bit. It does have plus 20,000 power still. Actually some mobile T3 Seraphim shields. Now this should do it. There should be at least 50 Strat bombers in this one. And we see some power surges. Worst time to have a power surge. That is some massive strategic bombing. And finally Sind dies. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one.